Welcome to part 3 of suicide. Thank you for joining. This practices and meditations and knowledge that helps my mind when it comes to the dialogue of suicide. From my guru, Paramahansa Yogananda. In the midst of negative conditions, practice opposition by thinking and acting in a positive, constructive way. Practice tatiksha, which means not to give in to unpleasant experiences, but to resist them without becoming upset mentally. When sickness comes, follow hygienic laws of living without permitting your mind to be disturbed. Be unruffled in everything you do. Where there is light, when there is pain, practicing pain, rising, falling, in, out. Breathe through it. The breath was there before the pain. We will talk about connecting to the unconnected. You are not intention, you are the tension. Identity gap, mind as a process. Time shafts, thought shafts, the presence, and thought per seconds with the future. How to change your karmic structure in your karma. Meditation technique, fear of darkness, wisdom through fear, visualization, meditation techniques such as Hamsa mantra, darkness meditation, instructions, and awareness of Swadhisthana chakra. Time versus understanding, pain from birth to death, unclutching from pain. The perception of physical pain can be changed by the mind, the placebo effect, inviting pain, the pain body, and the cognitive shift, a path to no mind, and the transformation of pain. And then meditation techniques such as focus on the pain, stop, freeze, witness pain, filled with nectar, look into the blue sky. Responsibility for your choices, relive to relieve technique from head to heart. But first, worldly people can't die. People who think of themselves can't die. Only Jesus had the real death. If you're gonna commit suicide, it's so funny. Where are you gonna go? Stop playing. That's what my guru said. So let's begin with connecting the unconnected. Let me give you an example. The low mood that you experienced 10 years ago, the low mood that you experienced 9 years ago or 6 days ago, the low mood that you experienced 8 years ago, the low mood that you experienced yesterday are completely unconnected and independent incidents. All these happen for different purposes, different reasons, at different times and situations. You connect all these unconnected incidents and say, my life itself is a depression. You're holding on to an old story of yourself of who you think you are. The low mood that experience are all unconnected and independent, unattached. 15 years ago, you would have felt the low mood and felt depressed because your toys were lost. 9 years ago, you would have felt depressed because your girlfriend was lost. A few years ago, you would have felt depressed or disturbed because your son was not listening to you. The reasons were different, situations were different, the cause was totally different. However, when you connect all these low moods and decide my life is full of depression, you have created hell for yourself. The moment you start believing that your life is depressed, your life indeed becomes a depression. Please understand that it is only when you believe to be what you believe your past to be your past that you will reproduce in the future. We all know that we can't fly from our past experience. How can we believe that we can start flying from tomorrow onwards? No, we can't. Whatever we believe to be our past, only that we will believe can be our future. So once we start believing that our past was filled with depression, we have created the unconscious faith that our future will also be depression. When we believe that the mind is just a thing, a biomachine, we have created hell for ourselves. Fortunately for us, the mind is not a thing. There is hope. The truth is that the mind is not a thing as we all have been taught. It is a process. It is not a noun but a verb. When we believe the mind is a thing, we create problems that do not exist. Understand, the moment we start believing that the mind is only a machine, we become helpless. No psychiatrist can help. No psychoanalysis can help. No other method can help because the basic belief is wrong. The moment we bring a wrong belief, whatever is built on that has to go wrong. It cannot be the truth. We need to understand the basic truth that the mind is a process. We are not intention, but we are attention. Identity gap. The identity that you project to the outer world is called ankar. The identity that you believe as you internally is called mamakar. Again and again, Vedic psychology says that you are beyond these two. You are not just these two. According to Western psychology, you are just these two. This is why so much of our work is done to project your identity. So much of attention and energy is given to hold on to your identity. The reality, the real you, is much more than these two identities. You are beyond these two identities. Above all, you need to understand your mind is not a machine. It is connected as you think because you not experience the gap between the thoughts. You start believe it is connected. You go on repeating the same. You are disturbed and tense. No, you are not disturbed. You are a disturbance. You need to understand the basic root where the problem starts, where the problem is created. The first basic root is you believing you as a shaft or as a thing. You are not a thing. Your idea about pleasure, pain, ideas, your idea about life, everything is built on that one lie that you are a thing. There is a mind process, inner chatter, feedback loop, sensory input, and events. Stop connecting your thought shafts. Breathe in and out. When there are no thoughts per seconds, when there are at least 10 thoughts per second, that is when no thoughts per second, 10 of them, 10 gaps, that is when you can start to change your karmic structure. Breathing in and out. You can really get somewhere knowing there's nowhere to stand. When you are in the intuitive state, you are more in the present. The point where the future meets the past is the present. This is where your thought frequency is zero and you are in no mind state. You have not merely controlled or suppressed the mind, which is impossible, you have transcended the mind, which is possible. Not only can the mind not play its games on you anymore, but you can also reach a state where you can play with the mind and make it do whatever you wish. We can choose to be in this state. This is the state of meditation. Meditation brings the mind to rest. Meditation disengages the mind so that the mind cannot play games. Fear of darkness. Your fear of darkness and fear of death are actually the same. The fear of the unknown. Connecting with the darkness will remove this fear. Your fear of death, your fear of disappearing, will be completely healed. I am reminded of a joke. Once a little girl was asking her father, "Daddy, are you afraid of darkness?" The father replied, "Of course not." The girl continued, "Then are you afraid of snakes?" He replied, "No, not at all." The little girl was very happy that she had discovered something new. She said, "Oh, so Daddy, you are not afraid of anything other than Mommy." Anyway, understand your fear of darkness is because of your ignorance, because you have not faced it clearly. In Tantra, the first instruction that disciples are given to do for healing the inner self is to go and sit in a forest or empty space and gaze at the emptiness. All that the person has to do is sit in the emptiness of the vast open sky, and one has to gaze at the sky the whole night. So many different fears and moods will come up. Whatever one has suppressed will come up. In Zen tradition, they have a similar practice where the person is asked to sit and face a wall and gaze at the wall. The mind becomes empty and one with the emptiness outside. If you can just look into darkness and the fear with awareness, you will live through it and get over it. The opening up of your suppressed emotions is what you feel as fear. You feel, no, no, I don't want to look into this darkness. You try to avoid it. But there is wisdom through fear. If a child is afraid of the dark, we say, "Don't be afraid, you should be brave." When you say this, you are teaching the child that the fear he is feeling should not be felt, but the child cannot do anything if the fear arises in himself. So, too, I say that no feelings are wrong. Your feelings about suicide are not wrong or unnatural. It can only be the action and will and acting on those things that are wrong. So now he tries to force himself to feel brave by suppressing the fear. This is how the child learns to suppress the natural emotion of fear. His body is trembling with fear, but he resists. Visualization. A very powerful way of overcoming fear is to visualize going through that fear as clearly as you can. The beauty with this technique is that it can be used when you are not in the fear situation, when you are calm and able to handle yourself. You can sit by yourself and visualize the situation that causes fear. Feel clearly the fear coming up in you. Face the fear with deep awareness. If you suffer, if your body feels uncomfortable, it is fine. Don't suppress the fear, just allow it to happen. When you experience something completely, you stop the process. When you experience the suicidal thoughts completely, you will stop the process eventually. Until you can allow it, you are not free from it. Whatever can never die, you will feel connected to that. Whatever cannot die is your very being. You will realize you are that which can never die, which we call truth, enlightenment, consciousness. Darkness is fulfillment, the creative energy from which you took birth. Don't see it as negative. We are born out of darkness. The darkness exists in the mother's womb. Darkness is not negative, as we usually think. It is intense healing. It is motherly, positive energy. Darkness is infinite base. When you board a flight and look outside the window at night, you can understand what I mean. The space is darkness. Darkness is the only thing that is. Anything else that is added comes and goes. Understand, darkness is not negative as you have been taught. This technique can heal four things: chronic fatigue, insomnia, oversleeping, and depression. All of these can be addressed and healed just by this technique. Close your eyes and sit. We will do this technique in part 4. Join me. Let's do it together. Round, round.